This is a theory lesson on autumn leaves. And to understand the theory behind all these chord changes, not only in autumn leaves, but in any jazz standard or in any jazz song, one needs to know about, how we harmonize a major scale to start out with. So what we do in music is that we use Roman numerals and numbers to explain chords. So if we're in C major, for example, a F would be the 4 major, and the 5 would be the G. Because in a C major scale, the fourth degree of the scale is an F, and the 5th is a G. And just to recap, in case you don't know the theory behind this, we can start in a C major scale. The 1 would be a C major 7, the 2 would be a D minor 7, the 3 would be an E minor 7, the 4 again would be an F major 7, and the 5 would be a G dominant 7. The 5 is always dominant, the 4 is always major, 3 is always minor, 2 is always minor, 1 is always major 7. So after that, if we go further than that, the G, which is the 5, always dominant, so G7, and then we have the A minor 7, which is the 6, so the relative minor, and then the 7, we can move back here, is a B minor 7 flat 5, and that is also always the same. All of these are going to stay the same, so a 1 is always, or most often, for now we're going to say it's always, because we'll get into more advanced theory later, but a 1 is always a major 7, a 2 is always a minor 7, 3 minor 7, 4 major 7, 5 dominant 7, 6 minor 7, and 7 minor 7 flat 5. Right, so let's get into autumn leaves. What we're going to start by doing is just analyzing these chords, and so it starts with a C minor 7, goes to an F dominant, and then F dominant, and then to B flat major 7. Now this, if we analyze this, autumn leaves is in B flat, by the way, so we're playing this is in the key of B flat major 7. So we're going to look at this from a B flat point of view. So we can see that it starts with a 2, because it's the C minor, to a 5, the F dominant, to the 1, the B flat major 7. Now this 2-5-1, I'm not sure if you've heard about this before, but this is one of the most common sort of progressions in jazz. It's the first you start learning, really, the 2-5-1. I'm sure you've heard that term before. If not, you're very likely to come across it in your quest for learning jazz. Anyway, it starts with a 2-5-1. So that would be C minor 7, F dominant to the B flat major 7. After that, it goes to the 4. So the 4 in B flat would be an E flat major 7. Now we know it's a major 7, so what we can do is add the 9 as well to have a major 9 chord, which is what we're going to do for the E flat, but we'll get to that. So after the 6, we've got 2-5-1-6. We'll go to a 7, which is the A minor 7 flat 5. After the 7, we play a D dominant here, which is going to act, as we know, we are in B flat, so the D would really be a minor, should be a minor, right? Because we're in B flat, so 1, 2, 3, it's the 3, and as I said before, it should be a minor chord because it's a 3. But if we look at the chord coming after this dominant chord, it's a G minor. So what the D dominant does in this case is act as a dominant chord as a 5 to the G. And the thing about the 5s or the dominants is that they want to resolve. You know, you get that sort of resolution going from dissonance to sort of consonance. And that's the reason they put that there, to sort of get that resolution. Right, so that's the theory behind the chords. 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, dominant to the 5. Sorry, dominant to the 6. So a neat little trick. This is what it's going to sound like. Right? And that's without the walking bass, because we'll get that will be in the second lesson, right? A cool little sort of trick to get into this is targeting the 7 and the 3rd of these chords. Again, you'll have to know some theory to sort of figure out what the 7 and the 3rds are, but basically it will start like this. You can check the tabs whilst I'm explaining this, so that I don't have to go into that much detail and making the video longer than it has to be. But basically we're targeting the 7th and the 3rd, which are you know, two of the most important sort of building blocks to building a chord. Often when you go above, say if you haven't got enough fingers, if it's a 9 chord for example, you haven't got enough fingers, ditch the 5, because that's the least important. Keep the 3 and the 7, or the 9, swap the 7 for 9, either way. We're going to start by doing just that. So it starts like this. Right? Now we're going to add the bass note as well, which is going to give us a more full sound. That's almost the entire song. So the reason we're sort of targeting the 3 and the 7 here is to not only to get you into the theory, but to keep the comp as minimal as possible, because we're seeing this in a setting where it's a full band, and usually when you play with a pianist as a guitarist, you sort of try to keep out of each other's way, because they're both comp instruments with, you know, sort of the same range. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this, and also it's very common in jazz to sort of break it down to, you know, the essentials of the chord. So the root, 3rd, and 7 in this case. We're also doing this because, as I said, it's a great way to get into the theory. And also a bit as ear training, because you can hear the beauty, sort of that descending, ascending line within that. Right. So that's it for this first lesson. The next one we're going to cover how to add walking bass to that, and then after that we'll have a look at the melody and trying to incorporate that. So if you have any questions at all about this first lesson, just send me an email or a direct message on Instagram and let me know, and we'll sort it out, hopefully. So thank you, and stay tuned for the next one.